Let me clear my voice for this.
I almost forgot.
So here's how I view this, right? Here's how I view our responsibility. We're here to enlighten people about the NFL draft. We're here to talk about college football. We're here to talk about the NFL. But if I'm being honest, there's nothing more special to me than providing the people with a service. And this week, where would Todd be? This is a special edition, a special Baton Rouge edition. Let's roll the, I know we got some music. I mean, so nothing gets you more fired up than that. Where would Todd be? Baton Rouge. This segment is all about servicing the people. We're a public service. It's something we're thrilled to provide. Okay. I ask this question all the time, Mitch, right? All the time. I mean, for the last 20 years, you're out at college games every weekend, especially living up in the Northeast, like where it's all NFL and people just don't truly can't grasp the experience that going to a college football game is. I was lucky enough. My grandfather worked with Bo Schembechler. I was able to go to college games like at Michigan, some Ohio State growing up. So I had a feel for it. But I'll be honest, growing up, Michigan, Ohio State was the rivalry. That was the epicenter of college football. Okay. Marshall Brown, my grandfather, he is what, he put that burning fire and love for college football in me.
Such a great story. Yeah.
So, but then I'll never forget, I'm traveling my first year traveling with Mike Godfrey, Ron Franklin. I'm I'm a spotter who's writing notes to Mike, cover 2, check out this receiver, one-on-one matchups, stuff like that. But it's my first taste of SEC football, and I'd never seen anything like it. And I've been an absolute addict ever since. There's nothing like it. Clemson's a wonderful place to go. USC's proud traditions, touchdown Jesus, Notre Dame, the Big House, the Shoe, love but there's something magical about a Saturday night in the SEC. So my answer to the question every time people ask, I swear, more than any question about quarterback, who's drafted, this, that, the most consistent question over the last 25 years is if you could, one guy's trip, one family weekend, where in college football would you go? If it's a bucket list trip. And my answer is always this: anywhere in the SEC on a Saturday night. But if you're going to hold me to one place, it's Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. There's no place like it. It never rains in Baton Rouge on a Saturday, all of it. And the reason is the passion, the excitement, the living and dying by it. But also when you get there, and listen, Ole Miss fans, it's a total different experience in the Grove, and that's a wonderful place, and they're beautiful people, and they welcome you with open arms, and you sit down at a tailgate with a white cloth over a table, and you'll be fed the coolest whiskey drinks and bourbons and and they'll love you there, and they'll love you up at Auburn, right? They will. They'll love you up in Tennessee and Knoxville. It's a different environment, a little more rowdy, but in Baton Rouge, they are wild. They're only not 90-minute drive right down, what is it, I-10 or whatever it is, right down the road to New Orleans. It's I
made that right.
It's the perfect blend of absolute party insanity that kind of trickles down from New Orleans and what an SEC Saturday night should be. Okay. So this segment every week from now on, we did Acre last week for Auburn. Great restaurant. This Saturday night is always going to be about how would you plan your Saturday night? I mean, sorry, your weekend, your perfect weekend. You're grabbing a bunch of friends. You want to go down for a weekend. You have a family, whatever it is. So I reached out. I told you, NFL GM, scouts, all that stuff. The most important conversation I had all week was with Brandon Landry, founder of Walk-Ons. He and Jack Warner, for a little history lesson, he and Jack Warner were walk-on basketball players for LSU Tigers years and years ago. They absolute love for LSU, all things Tigers, right? They decided, what can we do this fun? Let's not go get a corporate job. Let's not go work in accounting or be whatever it is. Let's do something with our school that we love and have passion about. So they started this sports bar called Walk-Ons. It was just a local joint. And it's all over the South now. It's exploded. Brandon's gone on, and he's now has the supper club and really Like he's an institution down there. And let me tell you, like Brandon to me is a microcosm of what you get in the experience in the Southern, like true Southern hospitality. And I know Ole Miss people will say they're a bunch of assholes at LSU, and LSU people say they're soft at Ole Miss. I get it. Everyone's got their rivalry. But if you're just the guy from the North, from Boston, who's going down to experience a game somewhere, a guy from anywhere who doesn't understand the fabric of an SEC Saturday night or an LSU Baton Rouge Saturday night, like to one of my first trips down there, I met Brandon Landry, right? And it's like, come on in, bud, and just showed me everything, showed me where to go, introduced me to the people. We're going from one place to the next. It's like a caravan of, Suburbans, and it's not like car services and all this rich stuff because you're traveling with ESPN. No, it's just like people who just like want to show you a good time. They're proud of what they have in Baton Rouge. So Brandon Landry has been a friend of mine for 20 plus years. I want you to understand this. I shot him a quick text the other day and said, hey, trying to plan doing the, where would Todd be this weekend? Trying to turn it into something fun where like, I want people to come here and be like, all right, we got it on Thursday afternoons. We got to check this out. Because one day I want to plan a trip to Auburn. I want to plan a trip to LSU, to Georgia, to Tennessee, to USC, to Michigan, to Notre Dame, to Ohio State. And we're going to provide what we think could be the coolest trip. If you're going to make that one bucket list college football weekend trip, we're going to try to provide it. I didn't even give him that backdrop. I just said, trying to put together like a great weekend in Baton Rouge for people listening and watching the show. I'm going to paraphrase some, but this is a lot of what he said. All right. This is in text.
Paraphrase some.
I showed you the other day. The text goes on and on and on. So he says, give me 30 minutes. I'll get back to you. 30 minutes later, I get this long text. It starts with the hotel you should stay at. Stay at the L'Auberge Hotel and Casino. Okay. Brandon was working on his text off the assumption we're coming in on Friday. But when I started reading through his text, I decided like, there's no choice. We got to go in on a Thursday. Thursday night, you get into Baton Rouge. You got to coat your stomach. You got to carb load a little bit. So we're going to go to Geno's on Thursday night. Brandon has no affiliation with Geno's. Gino Marino has become a friend of mine. Geno's to me is a special place. And you don't get much great Italian in the South. We're Northeast people.
Right.
It's like, it's the real stuff. Let's pull up the menu here. The Geno's menu. You look at some of the things that they have on there. And what I love about it is you get the Italian experience, but also with some Baton Rouge in there. Like to me, you got to get the Mama's special salad, of course. But then how about the angel hair pasta with crab meat, just to like warm things up,
Ooh, yeah.
And then I'm a veal parm lover. So I've always gotten the veal parm there, but from the grill, like So this is Thursday night. We can move on from Geno's, but go in there, say hello to Gino Marino. I actually had a wild night there one night, Mensch. I'm with an agent and some other people. All of a sudden, Britney Spears' dad is there. Big LSU fans, all that. Yeah. And listen, I'm not trying to get into a Spears controversy here and the family and all that stuff.
You are.
All I can tell you is in about 2002, it's now like 1 a.m. and I'm at some place, after hours joint with Jamie Spears, the dad of Britney. It was a wild night. You just never know what you're gonna get into in Baton Rouge. That's kind of why I love it. So we're gonna come in on Thursday. We're gonna carb load. It doesn't have to be the wildest night on Thursday because we got a big day on Friday. So this is where we pick back up with Brandon. He says, depending on when you get into town, this is him working off the assumption on Friday, you're flying in. But he says you got if it's a trip with your buds, you got to get a round of golf in. Go to the University Club. Great track. It's LSU's home course. All right. So he says that's where you start. So Thursday morning, you get up, you got a full belly. You didn't party too hard on Thursday night. Friday, you get up, you play a round of golf. Then when you're done with your round of golf, this is what he says. You got to go to lunch at Phil's Oyster Bar. Great seafood. You have to try. I've eaten there before. Trust me on this. Okay. Go to lunch, Phil's Oyster Bar on Friday and get the char grilled oysters.
Wow. I love oysters.
I know you
love oysters.
I know you do. You've had oysters and orange juice before in a hotel room. It's disgusting.
I was wondering how long I was going to take. Go ahead.
So and he also on a Friday afternoon, like everyone's coming to town. That's where everyone goes. So like people are driving in from all over the South. People are flying in. There's a lot of people, he said that's where I don't care, but that's where the who's who of Baton Rouge will be. Everyone goes there on a Friday afternoon. So then you kind of nurse it down. You see the sights, go around campus a little bit. Friday night, if you want a higher end meal, tell everyone to come into the supper club is what he said. That's his new place. He opened up a few years ago. They source the food from all over the world. And listen, you think, well, this guy's a former walk-on basketball player. He has a sports bar. What the hell does he know about food? Trust me when I tell you, like they had a setup mentioned at the Senior Bowl a couple years ago. With the food, they're walking around like shrimp wrapped in bacon, but like special stuff, like all the Southern stuff. Here's the menu. So here's what I know you got to do. The tempura sea. This is not the typical South, right? Like this is like you're in New York City, like in Manhattan. But I'm telling you, it's like from the best places in the world flies this in. This place is unbelievably popular. It's tough to even get in. So the tempura sea bass is phenomenal. The Wagyu nigiri sushi, phenomenal. Ooh. The short rib burnt end. We're just on the hot appetizers right now. Okay. Then you make your way over to the I mean, they get caviar. I'm not a caviar guy, but the prime cuts, the butchered house, the Segura cut. I mean, from Louisiana, 35-day dry age from Ethel, Louisiana. And then you've got your Wagyus, you get all, but you've got to, they call it arm candy. I love it. With your steak, the arm candy. This is where they bring in the Baton Rouge, the Southern seafood, king crab Oscar, sauteed lobster, and seared scallops as the arm candy. How beautiful is that?
Sounds great.
Okay. So now we've eaten like kings, right? Now we're like, it's Friday night. We've had a good meal. Here's the thing. You've played a round of golf at the university club, right? Then you've had lunch. You go out to lunch. You have the great lunch at Phil's. Then you go into the supper club and you have a wonderful dinner. Class, like all class, right?
Right.
But it's SEC Saturday night game, Friday night before. Like this is where it gets fun. And he writes to me, all right, back to Friday night late night. No other place than Fred's in Tigerland. So you're going to probably have a 3-hour dinner at Supper Club. Then you go over to Fred's in Tigerland. And he said, when you're done at Fred's in Tiger, it's going to be a wild scene. I mean, you're talking everybody with the Louisiana, the beads, everyone's running around. Everyone's chanting stuff for LSU. Everyone's getting all lubricated up for the next day. Okay. When you're done, listen to the detail he goes into. This is why I love Brandon. He's beautiful. On the way to late night after late night, you got to hit up small sliders or canes for just a little snack because you got to keep it going. Then the late night.
I love snacks.
Go to the L'Auberge Casino all night long. You can go and the spots inside there. And the best is right. Then you got a short commute up to your hotel room. Then awesome. He writes, you got to peel yourself out of bed in the morning. You got to get over to game day, assuming your game day is going to be there. If that's the case. And listen, if you're going to do one weekend a year or one time in your life and go down to experience this game day there, you got to go do it. So you hit up game day in the morning and then you head right over. He said right after game day, or go there for a little bit and then head right over to Louis Cafe. That's where you're going to get your breakfast. Then the pregame at the original walk-ons. So like you don't stop eating and you probably don't stop drinking the entire time that you're in Baton Rouge. So you're going from Louis Cafe and then you're just walking over to walk-ons, have a couple, Bloody Marys, whatever you do. And you're looking onto Tiger Stadium. Huge party outside, right? You get like a bracelet. It's not just inside. They have a huge party outside. Drinks are flowing. Atmosphere is everything that you'd think of for an SEC game. Then he said, this is critical. You got to walk through all the tailgates on the way. This is exactly, quote unquote, the sights, the smells, the sounds, the tastes. It'll just all blow you away. He goes, it'll just all blow you away, Todd. Because this is what I haven't done. I've always been working on the Saturdays.
Right.
He goes, I promise you, you will not go hungry. Everyone will open arms, welcome you in. Everyone will want to know your story. They'll gladly tell you their story. Everyone will offer you food and drinks. The tailgate party outside the stadium is just as good as the game itself. He said, but then you got to get down to the hill to see the team and the band walking into the stadium. So cool. Then he says, get in the stadium early, big game. The hype is real. Nothing more special than being inside Tiger Stadium right before kickoff. The bands are playing, like goosebumps everywhere. Then he says, all right, back to after the game, got to hit up walk-ons and then Fred's again, especially if the Tigers win. So it seems like if they lose, like go to walk-ons, have a couple cocktails, talk to your friends, and then go home. But like if they win, it's walk-ons and then late night at Fred's again. So 2 nights late night at Fred's. And then Sunday, this I love. Catch Superior Grill before leaving town, grab a margarita to go. These people are beautiful, man. Like they have like
drive-through margarita places down there. Or they used to when I was down there. They did. It's
not reality down there.
No.
So that's it. Like for everyone who's asked me over the 25 years, where would you go? One bucket list trip. I think we just outlined the best you can possibly do. And thanks again to Brandon. Like walk-ons, you got to visit. It's an institution down there, and the Supper Club now has become the elite of the elite. If you can afford to do that, if not, you got Fred's, you got the tailgates, you got game day. I'm telling you, like I literally like there's like a special place in my heart. I get like goosebumps thinking about what the weekend is. Talk to Rosillo and Stanford Steve. Steve was texting me this morning too about like he's on the plane down there. It is such an experience. It's like it's hard to explain. It's like a religious experience that you have. Like if you love college football, or even if you're just a sports fan, you got to make a trip like this once in your lifetime.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I'm starving. Man. I hope you're happy.
Oh yeah. What's for lunch?
Yeah, not that.
All right. This has been fun, man. This is what it's all about. This is what I love. We're back on Saturday night. Again, YouTube Live. Please come check it out. We appreciate everyone who's checked it out. We're here for all your criticism. We're here for all your comments. Please let us know. I'm at McShay 13. Mensch is at
Scouts Inc. Mensch.
Scouts Inc. Mensch. And let us know what you think. Hopefully you're here to stick around and listen to the show, but we'd love for you to join Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun right after this game. The LSU and the 3:30 game of Ole Miss, Georgia. See what Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter do against Texas Tech. Talk about this Alabama-LSU game, elimination game. We'll be on right after the game, like right when Herbie and Fowler are done. We're going to jump on here. We'll be on for an hour plus, however long it takes to unpack everything that we saw on Saturday. So that's it for today. Love it, Mensch.
Great, man.
All right. Talk to you soon.